Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Transformers Friday from the Toybox edition. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you the Transformers third-party open and plays version of a masterpiece Galvatron, Big Cannon. Let's get into it! Let's take a look at the figure and his no accessories in his alt mode. And I'll have to tell you, the way this guy came packaged, it was basically in a Ziploc bag that has the extra plastic over the zipper and is a handle. That's the best way I can explain it. And it did have print on it, said open and play Big Cannon. OP-01, I think. And I could not find any instructions where I normally store my instructions. In fact, I thought I had stored the bag for it as well, but apparently I didn't, and apparently this didn't come with any instructions, or at least I couldn't find them. So if I'm saying it didn't come with instructions and it did, I do apologize, at least to open and play. But the transformation on this guy, especially if you've had the Titans Returns Galvatron, is pretty intuitive. There is a part or two where I had to look up a picture just to see what the finished mode looked like, so that I made sure that I got the cannon mode correct. But again, if you've transformed the Titans Returns Galvatron, this guy's transformation is pretty similar to that. A lot of the engineering that's used on that figure is used here as well. In fact, a lot of this figure is based upon that figure, except they took all the crappy parts out, like the plane mode or space vehicle, whatever, the flying vehicle mode. They removed all that, and they removed that flip up piece for the face, which is this piece right here. You open the chest up and this piece flips out over the Titan Master or Headmaster. So there's a lot that's similar. I won't say the same. It's similar, but not the same. So let's take a look at it. And I will say, this guy, he is mostly molded in the proper colors. And he's a bit stylized from the animation. But with the colors that they chose for it, see, there's a few paint apps on it here and there, but the colors they chose on it is very, to me, animated styled or animated looking, and it really lends itself to that animated look for the figure. There's a couple of paint apps here, and then here, big paint apps there, and then a little bit here on the sides and here. And unlike Kingdom, he doesn't have any dirtiness on the gun. Again, it's a very, very clean deco on this guy. And of course, he did not come with a Decepticon Tampo. This is an aftermarket sticker that I put on him just to kind of give him that finished and official look. And as far as the gun mode itself goes, I mean, the cannon, it's a space cannon. There's not a lot you can really say about it. You can't really compare it to a lot of other things because it's quite frankly just a made-up thing. But I will say this piece that holds it up in the back is articulated, so it can, you know, the cannon can adjust angle some, so that's an improvement over the Titan's Returns. And again, that's everything that you hated about that Titan's Return. If you have the Titan's Return, everything you hated about that is pretty much gone on this guy. And I have to say, it's a really, really clean look and nice silver paint app all the way around the gun piece here where this plugs in. And I may have that wrong. That piece might not plug in there. I think it does though, because there's nowhere else for it to go. But you probably could just put the barrel on there. And this piece does, I won't say, wherever you put this, when you get it in there, it's in there. Well, I said this piece comes out. There it goes. So yeah, I thought it would fit. It does not fit. So doggone it. And then this piece moves for transformation. And sometimes it's a pain in the butt to get plugged back into any of the ports where it goes. So there we have it, my friends. A look at Big Cannon in his alt mode. It's time for alt mode comparisons, and here we have the third party Open and Plays Big Cannon, which is in the Masterpiece scale, with the Hasbro Transformers Titans Returns Voyager class Galvatron. Here's the third-party Open and Plays version of Galvatron, Big Cannon, which is a Masterpiece scale, with the Hasbro Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Leader Class Galvatron. For our final set of alt mode comparisons, here we have the third-party Open and Plays version of Galvatron, Big Cannon, which is in Masterpiece scale, or approximate to that, with Hasbro's Transformers Titans Returns Legends class Bumblebee, and the War for Cybertron Trilogy Generation Selects Amazon exclusive Leader class Alternate Universe Optimus Prime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the comedy portion of our program, where I'm going to attempt to transform this transforming robot, because I can't really call it a transformer, can I? I'm going to call it a transformer anyway. So I'm going to transform, or attempt to transform, this transformer. And again, if you will notice some similarities if you have that Titans Returns Galvatron. You will notice some similarities in the transformation. So first of all, we'll unplug the barrel of the gun, and I'm going to go ahead and flip that back for right now and see if I can remember how this piece opens up. And it opens up just like that. And you'll notice that there's a tab right here, and then there's a slot right here. And when you put it into the alt mode, you put that in there. But also, if I can get the head out of here, open that up a little more. There we go. Swing that on out. You'll notice that same port for the tab is right there once you lift the head up. So then once you get the head out of there, I'm going to go ahead and say point these up, and it's not the easiest to do on, at least on that side. This side was a little bit looser, this side's kind of tight. So, and I may not have put it all the way. Let's go ahead and put it all the way, because this whole assembly right here is going to swing up, and you'll notice there's a little indentation right here and right here. You can't see it real good, but there's a little piece that fits in there like a half sphere, and you just move that up. There's a hinge right here, and you just move that on up like that, and you'll know when you get it into place. You'll feel it. And then while we've got him like this, let's go ahead and spin it around here, so that far, and then this piece just kind of goes back up that way, and then this piece, you'll notice there's a tab right here, and there's a port right here on this. I didn't hit it. So that plugs in like that. Then I could go ahead and do the arms, but I'm going to go ahead and do the legs instead. And you pretty much, again, just like the Titan's Returns transformation, you will separate the legs, and you'll notice there's tabs and slots, and then tabs and slots on the back side as well. Now there's a double hinge in the knee joint for transformation, and what you'll do is just try to straighten the leg out as much as possible, but you want to be careful and not straighten it out all the way, because right here there's this switch, and you want to kind of pull that in a little bit just to make sure you don't break a tab, because there's a tab in here that this works, and when you're going into cannon mode, you do have to pull this while you move this lower joint in order to keep from breaking off the tab, which is an improvement that Open and Play made over what was on the Titan's Returns figure. And then the foot, you just straighten it out. Then this piece, you just fold up onto this, and there's a hinge right here, and you just close this. Well, okay, this has another hinge on it as well, and you just close it in like that, and then close that panel up, and then we can swing this leg around, and let's do pretty much the same thing. And in fact, we'll do the exact same thing over on the opposite leg. And some of these ratchets are really, really tight, and you can see right here, there is that slot I'm talking about that this tab that moves goes into. And okay, when you're transforming it back into robot mode, you don't have to pull the latch in, because it's slanted on the inside here just a bit to allow that to go in properly. And again, straighten the foot up, and I've already folded this over and put it in position, so we'll close that up, and it just kind of clips in. You'll see this piece kind of sticks out, even though there's a tab in it. It doesn't really tab in. This is piece that sticks out, and then there's an indent right here. So, and that covers that open area pretty good. Now, as far as the arm transformation goes, it's fairly simple. It's got a hinge. Dang it. It's got a hinge right here in the elbow, and it just goes straight back against the arm, just like the Titan's Return one does. Only this tread is a bit bigger. Then you'll want to, there's another hinge. Well, this piece has double hinges on it. You see, I don't know if you can see, there's a separate piece. The tread is on one piece, and then the elbow is a separate piece, but they're on the same pin. So you undo this, and there is a slot right here, and there's a tab right here. So you can undo that. And to get the hands, there's a little panel, which you can see that there's a tab right here. That's to help get the hand out. So you open this panel up, it's hinged right here at the edge of the forearm. Then you use this to help get the hand out. And then you close this back up. And there is a slot right here on the wrist piece. And then there's a tab right here. And that will go into place and help hold it into position. And then we'll do the same thing over here on the other side. Flip that down, untab the arm, flip open this panel, flip out the hand, close the panel up, put the arm down, and then we are almost done. So then the last piece we've got to transform is this one, and it's basically you take this post right here, and it's on a hinge on the inside here, and you just put it down till it snaps into position, and then you got a little bit of a post sticking out, and then there's a port in the bicep of Big Cannon's arm, and you just port that piece of the cannon in there. And that, my friends, is the open and play Big Cannon, all transformed without too much difficulty. Let's take a look at Big Cannon in his robot mode. And of course, he does have a big cannon. And I have to say, he does have some nice paint apps. There's some paint here, the eyes, the face, here on the shoulder pieces. Again, this is not a tampo. This is a sticker that I added. He's got a couple of paint apps here, and then the abs, and then the belt buckle, I guess, and then the crotch piece, and here on the biceps, and here on the forearms on both sides, and that goes for the biceps as well. And then it looks like this is probably a paint app, and then this is a paint app, it looks like, and then around the red, and then the red, and then it does go down to the about the mid shin, and then a couple of paint apps here on the feet, and nothing on the back so much as far as paint apps go. It does have, you know, paint for the treads, and they look really nice, I think. And it seems like most everything else is molded in plastic, or of course it's molded in plastic, but in the appropriate colored plastic. And then here's some sculpted details down on the bottom of the feet, along with some screws. But I will have to say, this, I do think this guy has pretty clean lines, and something I forgot to do in transformation. There we go. Now he's all transformed. But I do think this guy has pretty clean lines, and this is really what the Titan's Returns Galvatron should have been more alike. They should have done away with that whole third mode, that space vehicle, flying vehicle, whatever you want to call it, plane, you know, the flying vehicle mode. They should have just done away with, but I know that was a thing. They were trying to work a third mode into all the Voyager class stuff, and so they did, and I think it really was a detriment to that figure, along with that spring-loaded piece that flips up. So lots of improvements over that here, and this is really what it should have been like. Now, as far as his articulation goes, he can look up that far. He can look down that far. He can do the full Exorcist, and if you'll notice, the whole neck piece moves and it's on a mushroom peg rather than the head moving. So no chicken neck, no waggle. At the shoulders, he will do a full 360-degree rotation, and the arms will come out, it looks like, slightly better than 90 degrees. At the elbow, it's a double-hinged elbow, mainly for transformation, but you get that much bend out of it in robot mode. And then at the wrist, you do get a 360-degree rotation, along with some articulated fingers. Now, of course, the thumb isn't articulated at all. And then you've got one hinge for these 3 fingers, and they're on the same hinge as this first finger, and this goes for both hands. But then on the pointer finger, it can point. It does have the knuckle on the hand hinge, but it also has an additional hinge as well, and it can do it. And again, that's the same on both sides. Now, if it wasn't for this piece that was clipped in the back here, which I really could do without in the robot mode, I wish they found another engineering solution for this piece, because I really don't like the way it sticks up in the robot mode, and it does hinder the fact that he has a 360-degree rotation at the waist. Now, another thing I forgot to mention on the arms, there is a cut right here at the upper bicep, but because of the treads, you can't really, it will not go 360. It'll go around until it hits the treads either way. Now, at the hips, these pieces will flip up, and he can give you the full splits, probably a little bit more, but arms are getting in the way. And then as far as kicking forward, he can kick forward that far, and it does swing out a little bit when this really high knee plate hits the waist. And then backwards, he kicks back like a mule, and again, that's with a little bit of outswing because it hits this plate right here. And then, even though he has that double hinge for transformation, only the single hinge translates to robot mode, and it gives you a little less than 90 degrees worth of bend there. There also is a cut here at the upper thigh that gives you a 360-degree rotation. At the ankle, his foot will tilt down that far, it will tilt up that far, and it does have rocker. So, very nice. There we go. That, my friends, is a look at Big Cannon in his robot mode. It's time for my favorite part of a Transformers review, robot mode comparisons. And here in the back, we have the featured bot, the third-party open and plays version of Galvatron, Big Cannon, who is a masterpiece scale figure. With on the front row, the Hasbro Titans Returns Voyager class Galvatron, and the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Leader class Galvatron. For our final set of robot mode comparisons, here we have on the front row the Titans Returns Legends class Bumblebee and the Walmart exclusive Netflix Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Leader class Optimus Prime. And in the back, our featured bot, the third-party open and plays version of Galvatron, Big Cannon, who is a masterpiece scale figure, or approximate to that. For final thoughts on Open and Play's Big Cannon, their masterpiece, or their version of a masterpiece Galvatron, I have to say this guy has really clean lines, and the paint apps, it doesn't have a ton of paint apps, but it has paint apps where needed, and I think they're appropriate. I think they're really clean looking, and it really lends itself, and I'm sure I said this lots of times during the review, that it really lends itself, in my opinion, to that more animated, colored look, such as in the movie. Now, this guy, of course, is based on at least some of the engineering, maybe a lot of the engineering, is based on the Hasbro Transformers Titans Returns Voyager class Galvatron, which I'm sure I've said a bunch of times during this review as well. And they took everything that was good about that figure and put it on this one. Now, the engineering is the same, and some of that just, you know, it can stair leave, like the back plate, and you know, it's good that it plugs in so that it stays where it's supposed to, but it's bad that it does hinder a point of articulation for the figure, and it does get in the way if you try to just unpin it to use that articulation point. So there's a negative to basing something off of that mold. Now, they did do away with all of that space vehicle or flying vehicle nonsense, third transformation, making Galvatron a triple changer. And I think they improved the look of the cannon by doing that. You know, you don't have the nose piece and cockpit hanging out on the underside of this one. And the fact that they articulated the support strut in the back of the cannon to where it is adjustable, and you can do some tilting to aim the cannon however you would like to do that. I do like that they did that. I will say that the cannon piece is a little, it's hard to peg and unpeg. It's a very tight fit, and the fact that the post is on a hinge, when you're putting it on his arm in robot mode, it doesn't really affect it that much, but it doesn't really clip into place when you're putting it into cannon mode and you have to flip that peg out the other way and you're trying to stick it in the neck hole. It flops a little bit, and it's a little frustrating at times, or it can be. Just if you're aware of it, which I had forgotten about that particular thing when I went to transform it for this review, so I did get a little frustrated with it. Now, the fact that it doesn't come with instructions is also a little bit frustrating. Again, if I've just lost the instructions, I do apologize to Open and Play, but as far as I can remember, there were no instructions with this figure. But for me, that's okay. There's plenty of online places you can look if you really need to, but again, if you've had that Titans Returns Galvatron and you've ever transformed it, this one is pretty intuitive on how to transform it. And then you can just look at a picture of it online, just Google Open and Play Big Cannon mode and search the images, and of course it'll bring up an image, several images, a bunch of images, and you can just look at, you know, there are some different angles, and you won't need but one really. And you know, so now I will say I got this one years ago before I was even doing reviews. Of course, that's how it ended up on from the toy boxes because I got it before I was doing reviews. And oddly enough, I looked and the listing is still available on Big Bad Toy Store, which is where I ordered it. And I'm not plugging Big Bad Toy Store because they're giving me a kickback or anything. I'm just telling you, that's where I found it. It's still available there. And if you're interested in this guy, go check it out. It was about $35. And you know, if you've got a few masterpiece figures, you're looking for a Galvatron to stand in, you don't want to spend a lot of money on some of the other third-party ones. You know, $35 isn't bad to put a decent looking Galvatron in your masterpiece display. At least in my opinion. Your opinion, of course, may vary. There are some out there that are just, you know, masterpiece diehards, and it's got to be exactly right. And for me, though, this one it's close enough. And size-wise, it fits in both modes. To me, it fits in. So, again, overall, I do like this figure. This is what the Titans Returns figure should have been, only smaller. Or perhaps not. Perhaps just leader class, which would have been maybe about an inch shorter in the main line, I think. I think this one tops out at 10 inches and 9 or 10 inches for the old leader class is about what was normal, I believe. Well, that does it for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. It's nice to take a look back at this figure. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews or just help the channel out further, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.